Hey. It's y'all what's happening? Hey, what's happening? I'm talking to you, man. Yeah, another friend. Why wouldn't I be talking to you? Yeah. You know you so special to me, no matter what you think, I think. You know what I'm saying? Hey, shawty, what's happening?
Hello and welcome to Ask Mr. and Mrs. Smith. I'm Shireen.
And I am praying.
And we're not officially Mr. and Mrs. Smith yet. Our wedding date's coming up September 19th. And then we will be officially Mr. and Mrs. Smith.
So look out for the wedding postings and pictures and things like that. Follow us from now until we actually do tie the knot, jump the broom, or whatever you guys say out there.
You can follow us on Twitter. You can also check us out on our YouTube page, which is
www.youtube.com/Ask Mr. and Mrs. Smith. It'll be across the bottom of the screen. So.
And the same thing as far as MySpace. You can go to myspace.com/Ask Mr. and Mrs. Smith.
Yeah.
And that'll take you directly to our page. That particular page also has pictures of us leading up until this point, and we'll in the future have pictures of our wedding also on there. And our YouTube page is where most of this will be posted. Actually, this will be posted. It will also be posted on MySpace, but majority of it will be on our YouTube page.
Yeah.
And the purpose of this show is to basically talk about relationships, problems in relationships, and what you'll basically be doing is sending us emails or questions via MySpace or via email
or YouTube.
Yeah. And we will answer those questions in video response to whatever concerns you have in your relationship.
Okay, I guess what's up, buddy?
Well, first we'll talk about, I guess, what makes a couple compatible. We'll talk about ourselves a little bit so we can give you some ideas. I think one of the things that makes us compatible and makes us last the way we have and have such strength is the fact that communication is very strong with us.
That's number one.
Yeah, very strong.
We talk a lot, man. For a lot of y'all that don't understand, man, especially from the male point of view, communication is definitely the key. You know, y'all guys don't even want to talk, man. Y'all gotta tough it out sometimes and sit down and have some discussion sessions about what's going on in y'all life. Basically, it can be what's going on with the news or anything, man. As long as y'all open and understand, got an open line of communication, man. That makes a big difference with resolving problems and things like that.
And see, that's us. We talk about anything. It doesn't matter what it is. We watch the news together. We talk about that. We're having some issues with our friends or family or whatever it might be. We talk about everything because in a relationship, you're supposed to be not just boyfriend, girlfriend, or husband and wife. You're supposed to be each other's best friends.
Yeah.
So you should be able to talk about whatever it is, accomplish whatever it is. And once you establish and open up that line of communication, then everything else is possible for your relationship. Nothing's impossible.
Pretty much seal the fate for the success of your relationship.
Yeah.
You know, so.
Communication is a very strong ground.
Yep.
That foundation also that holds together a relationship. If you don't have communication, then pretty much it's not going to last at all. I think one of the things on a woman's side of you that can help with your relationship with the man is not just talking and telling him what you want and what you need, but listening. Listening is very important. Stop and listen to what he has to say. And a lot of the things we'll talk about today, I know will sort of sound like to you come from the 50s as far as the woman being submissive and the woman stopping listening to the man and listening to his needs and everything. But a lot of those facts that came from the 50s still stand strong today and actually will still hold a relationship together. And I know most of my black women out there, it's hard to be completely submissive to a man or even a little bit submissive to a man when you're such strong black women and you want to hold on to that. But if you want to hold on to your man, even more importantly, you're going to have to learn to let down some of your guards and be more submissive. And what I mean by that, for example, is if Princeton decides that come up with a decision that we're gonna take this family trip for the weekend, I have to just learn how to, instead of asking him a million questions, which I used to do, just stop, lay it down, let him have it, and just trust the fact that he's already planned everything out. So let him be the man in the situation. Let him be the leader in the situation. And by us women, we're supposed to be the supporters to the men who are the leaders. So as long as we've got a team established, we've got the man who's the head of the household or the president, and then you've got the cabinet leaders behind who are supporting. That's what the woman's supposed to play in the role of a relationship. She's supposed to support the man. And vice versa. The man is supposed to support the woman and her desires and wants too. He's not just supposed to say, hey, I'm the man. You know, I make the rules.
You definitely got to back that up. You gotta back up the fact that your woman is being submissive. You got to give her a reason and make sure that she's doing it for a very good reason. And you got to make it mean something, man. You can't. She's not finna be submissive to any old dude who's just like doing whatever he want to do and not respecting her and like, you know, disrespecting her and fussing at her. And if you ain't handling your business, period, as a man, you can't expect too much more than just, I guess, trouble, I guess. But with all that saying, I guess, first question is, should women be submissive?
Yeah, well, so should women be submissive? And not only that, I found this interesting article on odduniverse.com, and it's titled How to Be a Good Wife. But this comes from a home economics textbook from the 1950s for high school girls on how to be prepared for married life. And as you probably already know from our history, back in the 50s was when a lot of girls in schools, home economics was based around that, learning how to cook, learning how to sew, learn how to take care of family, learn how to take care of husband. Because in those days, that's what the woman's job, primary job, was, to play wife and to be, and they got them prepared for that in high school. Some were even sent off to college that was supposed to be a college, but they were actually being taught how to conform to their man and be submissive to their man. So even though some of those things back then we look at now and say, wow, we've moved a lot from what we used to be, but some of those things still hold strong. You can go on and look at this on odduniverse.com, and some of the questions, well, some of the points on here are, number one, have dinner ready. That still holds true for today. But it doesn't necessarily have to just hold true for the woman's side.
Yeah, it goes both ways.
Right, it goes both ways. So it doesn't have to be on one sided, but it makes a relationship strong also.
Because fellas, I do most of the cooking. So
he does. I love to cook, like to cook, love to bake, the whole 9 yards. But it's the first time ever I've been in a relationship where the man loves to cook just as much as the woman does. So when he wants to step up to the plate and cook, I back out the way and let him do it, because you don't too often get a chance where a man is going to do that. Same thing with the wedding, planning our wedding. Most weddings, the woman does all the planning, and the moms and the mother-in-law, they do all the plannings, and the son, the husband-to-be, does absolutely nothing but just say whatever you want. Well, in our wedding, Prince is actually very, very, very much involved in our wedding and helping with the planning. He's not overly zealous with it, and he's not gay acting with it either, where he just controlling. But
if I want that cake,
right.
I want that cake. 7 layers. Yeah.
That was this thing with the cake. We wanted, we were deciding on our wedding cake. We knew which cake we wanted, but the cake only had initially 5 cakes to it. Not layers, but 5 cakes.
Oh, yeah.
In general, in 7 different